John Miller wiped sweat from his forehead as he pushed his cleaning cart down the gleaming hallway of the Galactic Alliance testing facility. The night shift was quiet, just how he liked it. No aliens looking down their noses at the human janitor. 6 months cleaning for beings from other worlds, and he still couldn't get used to it. His radio crackled. "Miller, we've got a spill in Section 7. Get on it." "On my way," John sighed, turning his cart around. As he approached Section 7, emergency lights began flashing. Strange. The door to the combat testing chamber slid open as he passed. John hesitated. He wasn't supposed to go in there. Ever? "Hello?" He called out. No answer. The door suddenly hissed behind him. John spun around as it sealed shut with a heavy clank. He ran to the control panel, jabbing buttons frantically. "System malfunction," a robotic voice announced. "Combat test sequence initiating." John's heart hammered against his ribs. No. I'm not supposed to be in here. Above, behind the dark glass, alien figures rushed into the observation deck. Their voices came through the speakers, high and angry. "What is this human doing in the chamber?" demanded a tall blue-skinned official. "He is not authorized," another replied. A third alien with 4 eyes and gray skin leaned forward. "It doesn't matter. The test has begun. Protocol states all subjects must complete the trial or face execution." John banged on the door. "Hey, let me out. I'm just the janitor." The room's lights dimmed, then brightened to a harsh white. The floor beneath John's feet hummed. "Combat test subject, human," announced the AI. "Weapons, none detected." Laughter erupted from the observation deck. John looked up to see the aliens pointing at him, their faces twisted in amusement. "A human with no weapons?" one sneered. "This will be quick." The floor opened in 3 places. Metal platforms rose, each carrying a combat robot. They were sleek, deadly machines with blades for arms and glowing red sensors. John backed away. "Wait! I'm not a fighter. I clean toilets." The first robot stepped forward, its head swiveling to lock onto John. Then, a voice whispered in his mind. Not the facility AI. Something different. Something inside him. "Calibrating to Earth physiology," it said. "Interesting. Very interesting." John clutched his head. "What the robot lunged. John should have died right there. Instead, his body moved on its own. He ducked with impossible speed, feeling his muscles burn with strange energy. "What's happening?" gasped an alien observer. The voice in John's head continued. "Earth doesn't need weapons. You are the weapon." The robot swung again. John caught its blade arm, metal cutting into his palm. Pain shot through him, but instead of weakening him, it sharpened his senses. He twisted the arm and ripped it clean off. John stared at the severed robot limb in his hand, then at his bleeding palm already starting to close. "Impossible," shouted the blue alien. "Humans don't have regenerative abilities." The robot attacked again. John moved like water, each motion faster than the last. He drove the robot's own blade through its chest. Sparks flew as the machine collapsed. The remaining robots advanced. John felt something awakening inside him, something ancient and powerful. Above, alarms began to blare. Red lights flashed across the observation deck. "Threat level unprecedented," announced the facility AI, subject displaying class A combat potential. Aliens watched in stunned silence as John dismantled the second robot with his bare hands, moving with speed no human should possess. "Lock down the facility," ordered the 4-eyed alien, fear in his voice. "Whatever this human is, he cannot leave this room alive." The third robot charged at John, its metal feet clanging against the floor. John's mind raced as the voice inside his head grew stronger. "Your species evolved on a death world," it said. "Earth gravity would crush most aliens. Your bacteria would kill them. Your predators would hunt them." John dodged a swipe that would have taken his head off. The robot's arm smashed into the wall, leaving a deep dent in the metal. "I'm just a janitor," John gasped, rolling away from another attack. "I used to clean office buildings in Chicago." Memories flashed through his mind. His small apartment, the job application for off-world work, the promise of good pay, the disappointment when they gave him a mop instead of a chance. The robot lunged again. This time, John didn't just dodge. He stepped into the attack, grabbed the machine's arm, and used its momentum to slam it into the ground. The impact shook the room. "Human strength exceeds parameters," the facility AI announced. "Adjusting difficulty." In the observation deck, the aliens argued loudly. "Stop the test," said a thin alien with purple skin. "This is not what we expected." The blue official shook his head. "Protocol demands we continue. We must know what we're dealing with." A new figure pushed through the crowd, taller than the others, with red scales and black armor. The other aliens stepped back, showing respect and fear. "Commander Vex," the blue official said with a bow. "We have an unusual situation." Vex stared down at John through the glass. "I see that. A human janitor destroying our combat units." John felt Vex's eyes on him like a physical weight. He barely had time to react as the third robot exploded, sending shrapnel flying across the room. A metal shard sliced his arm. Another cut his cheek. "You feel that pain?" the voice in his head asked. "Pain is information. Your body uses it. Other species run from it." John touched his bleeding cheek. The cut was already closing. "What's happening to me?" he whispered. "I am helping you unlock your Earth potential," the voice replied. "You can sense danger before it happens. Feel it." The floor opened again. A larger robot emerged, this one carrying what looked like a gun. John felt a tingle at the back of his neck. He dived right as the robot fired. A bolt of energy hit where he had been standing, melting the floor. "Fascinating," Vex said, pressing a hand against the glass. "Increase to level 8. The blue official gasped. "Level 8? But sir, that's reserved for military testing." "It's lethal." "Do it," Vex ordered. The large robot's eyes glowed brighter. It moved faster now, firing repeatedly. John dodged most shots, but one caught his shoulder. Pain exploded through his body. He screamed and fell to one knee. "Get up," the voice urged. "Your ancestors survived ice ages, plagues, wars. This pain is nothing." John forced himself to stand. His burned shoulder throbbed, but he could still move it. The robot charged, firing as it came. This time, John didn't dodge. He ran straight at the machine. Bolts of energy flew past him. One grazed his leg, another his side. He kept running. "Earth doesn't need weapons," the voice said again. John leaped, crashing into the robot with all his strength. They fell together, wrestling on the ground. The robot was stronger, but John was faster. He grabbed its gun arm and twisted until something broke. Vex watched with growing interest. "What are you?" he whispered. The robot pinned John down. Its free hand transformed into a blade, pressing against his throat. John's vision blurred. Blood loss. Too many injuries. The voice in his head faded. Vex pressed a button. "Stop the test." "I'll handle this myself." The robot froze. John lay gasping on the floor as the door opened. Commander Vex stepped in, holding a glowing weapon no human had ever seen before. "Get up, Earthman," Vex said. "I want to test you myself." John opened his eyes to bright lights and the smell of something sharp and clean. He tried to sit up, but pain shot through his body. He was lying on a metal table in what looked like a medical room. "Don't move," said a soft voice. "Your wounds are still healing." John turned his head. A slim alien with pale blue skin and large silver eyes stood beside him. She wore a white coat with strange symbols on the sleeve. "Who are you?" John asked, his voice rough. "Where am I?" "My name is Kira. I'm a medical officer. She checked something on a screen next to his bed. You're in the recovery wing. You're lucky to be alive after facing Commander Vex. Memories flooded back. The combat chamber. The robots. The voice in his head. Vex with his glowing weapon. What happened? John asked. You collapsed. Vex was about to finish you when I intervened. Kira looked over her shoulder nervously. I told him you were more valuable alive for study. John tried to sit up again, slower this time. The combat test. What was that really about? Kira's silver eyes darkened. It's not what they tell people. It's not about finding allies or warriors. She lowered her voice. It's about finding threats and eliminating them. Threats? Species with potential to challenge the Galactic Alliance. Kira moved closer. Earth was considered too primitive to be dangerous. But you changed everything. The door slid open. Kira quickly stepped back and pretended to check John's vitals. The human is awake, she said formally. A tall alien in a lab coat entered, followed by 2 guards. Good. Prepare him for transport to the research facility. When they left, Kira leaned close to John. Listen carefully. The voice in your head is an ancient AI. It was created to help species reach their full potential. How do you know about that? John whispered. Because I've studied the old records. The AI chooses worthy species. Her eyes were intense. John, they're planning to put Earth under containment. Containment? Quarantine at best. Destruction at worst. Kira's hands trembled. Your performance scared them. They think humans are too dangerous to join the galactic community. The voice in John's head returned, weaker than before. She speaks truth. I was created by the predecessors, a race now gone. I seek worthy successors. John's heart raced. We need to warn Earth. Yes, Kira agreed. But first we need to get you out of here. She pressed something cold into his hand. This will block the security sensors. When I create a distraction, run to the end of the hall and take the lift to Docking Bay 3. Why are you helping me? John asked. Kira's expression hardened. Because I've seen what containment really means. My home world was contained 50 years ago. I was one of the few who escaped. Alarms suddenly blared. Kira looked up, startled. That's not me, she said. Something's happening. The door burst open. Security forces rushed in, weapons raised. Step away from the human, ordered the lead guard. Kira grabbed a medical instrument and slammed it into a panel on the wall. Sparks flew. The lights went out, replaced by dim red emergency lighting. Run, she shouted. John's body responded instantly. The AI in his head guided his movements. He dodged the first guard's grab, slipped past the second, and sprinted into the hallway. Behind him, he heard Kira fighting the guards. He wanted to help her, but the mission was clear. Warn Earth. He reached the lift and slammed his hand on the control panel. The doors opened. Inside, he pressed the button for Docking Bay 3. The lift doors opened to reveal a massive hangar filled with sleek ships. John spotted Kira already there, working on a small vessel's control panel. How did you get here before me? He asked. Service tunnels, she replied, without looking up. I know this station well. The ship's engines hummed to life. Kira waved him inside. We need to hurry, she said. They'll lock down the bay any minute. As they lifted off, the main screen flickered. A stern face appeared. An alien with dark red scales and 4 yellow eyes. His uniform was decorated with symbols of high rank. This is Admiral Zorn, the alien said coldly. You have stolen Alliance property and are harboring a dangerous specimen. Surrender now, or watch as we begin Earth's containment immediately. We need to jump to light speed now, John said, staring at Admiral Zorn's threatening face on the screen. Kira's fingers flew across the control panel. They've locked weapons on us. We won't make it. The ship shuddered as a warning shot passed close by. Outside the view screen, John saw the massive Alliance fleet forming a blockade. Can you help? John asked the AI in his head. Place your hands on the ship's interface, the voice replied. John pressed his palms against the glowing panel. Instantly, strange symbols flashed before his eyes. He could somehow read them, understand them. What are you doing? Kira asked, watching in amazement. I don't know exactly, John said. His fingers moved on their own, inputting commands. The AI is helping me interface with the ship. The engines changed pitch. The ship lurched forward, then vanished into a flash of light that no Alliance vessel could track. Impossible, Kira whispered. This ship shouldn't be capable of that jump pattern. Earth technology, the AI explained through John. Your species builds things to break, rules when needed. Hours later, they emerged from light speed near Earth. John's heart leaped at the sight of his blue home planet. Then he noticed the alien ships already in orbit. We're too late, Kira said. The advance team is already setting up the containment field. John clenched his fists. We need to land and warn people. They slipped past the alien ships and entered Earth's atmosphere. The ship's cloaking system kept them hidden as they landed in a field outside a military base. How do we get in? Kira asked, looking at the fences and guards. John smiled grimly. I know this base. I was stationed here before I took the off-world job. They approached the gate. The guards raised their weapons until they recognized John. Miller? We thought you were in space. One said. Emergency, John replied. I need to see General Harris now. Inside a secure room, John explained everything to the general and his staff. The combat test. The AI. The planned containment of Earth. This is hard to believe. Miller, General Harris said, his weathered face serious. Sir, look at the scans of those alien ships in orbit, a young officer interrupted. They're positioning for a planetary shield. The general's face hardened. What can we do against technology like that? Fight, John said simply. The AI says humans have potential no other species has. We just need to show them. I'll need volunteers, the general said. A small team to infiltrate their command ship. 5 soldiers stepped forward immediately. With Kira's help, they planned their mission. They would use her knowledge and John's new abilities to board Admiral Zorn's flagship. As they prepared to leave, the AI spoke again in John's mind. I must tell you my final purpose, it said. I was created by the predecessors before they vanished. They seeded the galaxy with these systems, hoping to find worthy successors. Why choose humans? John asked. Because you adapt. You survive. You protect. Their small ship approached the massive Alliance flagship. Using Kira's codes, they docked without raising alarms. The team moved through the corridors, avoiding patrols. John sensed danger before it appeared, leading them safely toward the command center. Almost there, he whispered. A door opened ahead. One of their team, Private Wilson, stepped out with his hands up. Behind him stood Commander Vex, holding a weapon to Wilson's head. I knew you'd come, Vex said. Your friend here told us everything for the right price. Guards surrounded them, weapons ready. John felt the AI trying to help, but there were too many enemies. Take them to the bridge, Vex ordered. Admiral Zorn wants to show our human friend what containment looks like. They were marched to the bridge. On the main screen, Earth hung beautiful and vulnerable. A countdown timer showed less than an hour remaining. Watch closely, Admiral Zorn said to John. Your primitive world will be sealed off forever. John looked at the Admiral, then at Vex. A desperate idea formed in his mind. I challenge Commander Vex to single combat, John announced. Under Section 7 of the ancient galactic law of conflict resolution. The bridge went silent. Zorn's yellow eyes widened in surprise. How does he know about that law? He whispered to Vex. Admiral Zorn's face twisted with anger. You dare invoke ancient law, human? I do, John said firmly. By your own rules, I have the right to challenge. Vex stepped forward, his red scales gleaming under the bridge lights. "I accept the challenge. It will be my pleasure to end this personally." A bridge crew quickly cleared a space. Screens around the ship activated, broadcasting the fight to the entire Alliance fleet and down to Earth. "The whole galaxy will watch you fail," Vex said, removing his armor to reveal a muscular frame covered in natural scales that looked harder than steel. John stood barefoot in his simple clothes. He looked small compared to Vex, but his eyes burned with determination. "Begin," Admiral Zorn commanded. Vex attacked immediately, moving with shocking speed for his size. His fist connected with John's chest, sending him flying backward into a control panel. "Pathetic," Vex laughed. "Is this Earth's champion?" John got up slowly, wiping blood from his mouth. The AI whispered in his mind, "Remember what makes humans different. Adapt." Vex charged again. This time, John watched his movements carefully. He noticed patterns, weaknesses. When Vex swung, John ducked under the blow and struck the alien's side, where the scales were thinner. Vex grunted in pain and surprise. "The human landed a hit," someone whispered. John pressed his advantage, moving faster with each exchange. The AI guided his movements, but it was his human instinct that predicted Vex's attacks. "Your technology is impressive," John said between blows. "But technology can be copied. What can't be copied is this." He tapped his head. Vex roared and unleashed a flurry of attacks. John blocked most, but took a hard hit to his shoulder. Pain shot through him, but instead of weakening him, it sharpened his focus. On Earth, millions watched the broadcast that had broken through all channels. In homes, offices, and military bases, humans saw one of their own fighting for their planet. Something unexpected began to happen. The AI signal spread through Earth's communication networks. All across the planet, humans felt a new awareness awakening inside them. Back on the bridge, John and Vex circled each other. Both were bleeding now. Vex's movements had slowed, while John seemed to grow stronger. "What are you?" Vex demanded. "Just a janitor," John replied. "But also something you never understood. We humans evolved with something no other species has." "And what is that?" Vex sneered. "Adaptability under pressure." John moved with blinding speed, feinting left and striking right. His fist connected with Vex's jaw with a crack that echoed across the bridge. The alien commander crashed to the floor. John stood over him, ready to deliver a final blow. The entire bridge held its breath, but John lowered his fist. "I won't kill you. That's another thing about humans. We can choose mercy." Admiral Zorn stepped forward, his yellow eyes studying John intently. "You could have killed him. Why didn't you?" "Because Earth doesn't need more killing. We need understanding." Zorn looked at the screen showing Earth, then at the countdown timer. With a gesture, he stopped it. "Perhaps we have misjudged your species," he said slowly. "The combat test was designed to find threats, but maybe it found something else instead." 1 month later, John stood before the Galactic Council. Representatives from 100 worlds watched as he became Earth's first official ambassador. "Humans will join the galactic community not as subjects, but as equals," John declared. "We bring not weapons, but protection. Not conquest, but cooperation." As he spoke, he felt the AI one last time in his mind. "Earth doesn't need weapons," it whispered, "because Earth creates protectors." John smiled as he looked out at the assembled aliens. A new chapter was beginning, not just for him, but for all of humanity.